The 2025 draft class is in the books, and we look at the newest San Jose Sharks prospects.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker at the Reef, also the co-host of Locked On NHL. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Proudly part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. And if you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do is just follow wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube as well. And today we're going to be looking at the newest members of the San Jose Sharks draft classes. Day 2, rounds 2 through 7 of the 2025 draft are now complete. Sharks adding several new pieces, including Simon Wang, one of the most intriguing players in the entire draft. So we're going to get to know some of these new players, look at, Wang, we'll look at McKinney, some of these other guys in the late round of the draft. So before we do all that, though, do want to let you guys know today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. So we have completed the draft, still here in LA for a little bit longer, but wanted to get an episode recorded and stuff before I head home tonight. The draft is done. Of course, yesterday we know the Sharks picked Michael Misa at number 2, and then Joshua Ravensbergen, the goalie, at number 30. Sharks had the first pick of the day with pick number 33, and a lot of people, myself included, thought Blake Fiddler would be a potential guy there, but the Sharks swing for the upside of Simon Wang, the highest now Chinese-born drafted player in NHL history. So let's get to know Simon Wang here. So Wang play 6'6", 223-pound left-handed defenseman, playing this season with the Oshawa Generals in the OHL. 33rd overall pick this year. Offensive numbers aren't going to be super impressive. You have to remember with him, he is a very, very raw player. 32 games, 0 goals, 2 assists, 34 shots on goal with him. So Wang did also start the season kind of playing in the right below the junior kind of OHL, basically. Started the season there, kind of earned his call up to go play in the OHL, and was playing with throughout the playoffs as well for Oshawa. He's a guy who's very late getting into hockey. Like, he didn't really start playing hockey until he was 14. He's also extremely young, still hasn't even turned 18 yet. He won't turn 18 until later this summer here. His birthday, end of July. So like he's a very young, raw prospect, but you can easily see why the Sharks were intrigued with him, why they thought he's worth investing in. So looking at his elite prospect kind of card here, they have kind of the elevator pitch, enormously gifted skater with massive play killing potential and flashes of vision, the biggest development project in the draft, but unique potential with shades of Alec Vlasic, who's become a very good young defenseman for the Chicago Blackhawks. And of course, Vlasic related to Mark-Edward Vlasic, known for his fleet of foot, toolsy, and again, that raw projection with him. Grading out, like, he was given a 7 out of 9 out of skating. Like, that's the same skating Michael Misa was great at. Like, you were talking about a guy who's 6'6", might be even closer to 6'7" now. Like, I stood right next to him. He's a very big dude. You're talking about a guy who's that big and can skate that well. So I get the, like, why didn't you take Blake Fiddler? And yes, I know the right-handed defenseman. Sharks didn't really do anything to help that, but Mike Greer said it. He's going to take who he thinks is the best player available, to regardless of need, which is the best way to approach the draft, because you never know how other players are going to develop. And last time I checked, there's more than one way to acquire players. So if you are worried about the right side of the defense, let's take a deep breath, because we're step one into the off season right now. So but back to Simon Wang, what his kind of more into his, what the scouts say for him. The OGHL may have produced some NHL talents throughout the years, but rarely do we see flocks of scouts attend one of their games. Yet it happened early in the season with Simon. So Wang is, he does not mind going by Simon, so we're going to call him Simon. Someone asked him. He says Simon is perfectly fine. So anyway, arriving late to competitive hockey, Wang is just starting to find his marks on the ice and learn how to influence the play. Normally that profile would scare away the NHL, but the case of Wang is bolstering his profile as the ultimate project. Why? Because of the 6'6" frame and high-end skating. There's rare combination, extremely valuable in professional hockey. And Wang, you get all the advantages of the size without the usual drawbacks that come with it. He can flex his lower body, bring his knees over his toes, and drop his upper body at just the right angle to enable fast and smooth lateral pivots, crossovers, and backward strides. Using his gifts, Wang closed down opponents, shook the forecheck, carried the puck across blue lines, and created scoring chances regularly at the OJHL, looking like a high-impact two-way defenseman. But his transition to the OHL highlighted his inexperience, which is what you would expect, right? Wang's early jump to the OHL will help his career, giving him the indication that he has to work on developing to a high-end prospect. As the season progressed, he started engaging and walling off opponents more as he refined his defensive timing. His breakout game improved as well. The team drafting Wang will need a high degree of imagination and confidence in the development group. I think with the Sharks, you can feel like they have high degree of imagination and confidence in their development group, right? With lots of guidance and technical work, he become a unique top four defenseman capable of shutting down larger areas of ice with this range, finding passing lanes inaccessible to many. So with Wang, he is kind of the timeline, or what's to see, his next couple steps here. He'll spend another season in the OHL. Next year he's going to, he's supposed to spend some more time in the OHL before going to Boston University, I believe is the plan from him, from what he said today. So, but a guy, I think that's a perfectly great, that's a great path for him to go back, spend some time in the OHL before making the jump to college hockey, where he can continue kind of getting used to a more physical brand of hockey here. But I think this is again, if you want to swing for upside, definitely a player who I think is worthy of that. And yes, I know there's going to be people who are mad, why didn't you take Blake Fiddler, et cetera, et cetera. I get it. I get that. I do think, though, Wang does have our friend Stephen Ellis, who is on the show, loved the pick and thinks it's especially where you got him and what his potential could be. This is definitely something for him to continue to his development. So, extremely bright kid. Talking to him, he also talked about the importance of kind of his role in hockey as the highest born Chinese player, and he said, I want someone to break my record soon, where now someone's getting drafted in the first round and, someone's getting drafted in the top 10. He knows his importance and kind of being a role model and stuff like that. And seems like a great kid. And I think he's going to be quickly become a fan favorite for the San Jose Sharks, and as he continues his path and his development. So, but yeah, he does checking in. Yeah, going to be going back to Oshawa next year before going to Boston University. That's the plan. So, but yeah, I think for Wang, I think the Sharks, again, there's some risk, but the untapped potential with him, you can see the plan. Like, you can definitely see the plan for him. So we're going to turn to Cole McKinney, the other second round pick that the San Jose Sharks made, kind of the intrigue behind him, where he fits in the pipeline. Then we'll look at some of the other picks as well, as the Sharks made several draft choices today. So we'll get to that here in just 1 second. If you ever decided at the last minute you need to head to the ball game with friends or family, maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands, that's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Game Time makes it possible. Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch. You've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. Game Time is the official partner of Locked On MLB. Makes it easy to browse an app for exciting upcoming MLB games. Again, just the Giants. Go watch the Giants play. They're really fun. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNHL, LOCKEDON NHL for $20 off. Download the Game Time app. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. All right, before we continue, of course want to thank you for making the Locked On Sharks your first listen. Although the draft is over, we still have free agency next week. So plenty of great stuff coming along with that. So make sure you're following along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. So yes, plenty of great stuff. All right, so let's get to know Cole McKinney. McKinney is 6 foot, 201 pound forward, right-handed shot playing for the U.S. national team, 53rd overall pick. Many kind of thought he would be a potential option at like 30 or 33. Sharks got him at 53. Played 51 games, 24 goals, 31 assists, 108 shots on goal. McKinney is, most likely going to be kind of projected as a third line, middle, kind of bottom six type of player as he continues. But I think, again, your fourth pick in the draft, in this year's draft, I think you're shooting for those traits, right? Guys who you think you realize can make a difference or have a specific role, right? You can't have a bunch of Will Smiths or Macklin Celebrinis, et cetera, et cetera. So looking at McKinney and kind of his elevator pitch from elite prospects, of course, a trustworthy two-way bottom center projection who outworks almost anyone. He's capable play connector and offers a physical net front presence with a scoring threat. Shades of Jake Evans, known for his motor, clinical finisher, and versatility. Graded pretty well with his passing and his physical and sense. His skating, I think he needs a little bit of work there, apparently. But with McKinney, he's also going to be going over to Michigan. The Michigan coaches were already there at the draft, came over and said hi to him during his media availability. And I think Michigan's a great program to end up at. So looking at his profile here, McKinney wasn't just the NTDP's leading scorer, was also the most productive players in the USHL. Even his 2.8 even strength primary points per 60 was his sixth best mark in the league, according to Instat. Although we are cautious about his upside, his strong second half and advanced details ultimately prevailed. McKinney brings the same high-end attention to detail and determination night in and night out, forcing turnover after turnover. He never stops engaging opponents. He pushes them to support the walls and traps them. With proactive physicality, a strong stick, he rips away possession from bigger opponents and put his team right back on attack. Known for his penalty kill, that was something that was talked about too, was just how strong of a penalty killer that McKinney is as well. Puck handling and lack of shooting threat might limit his overall scoring upside, but he's a straightforward bottom six role that can provide a bit more explosive physicality and get off the wall a little bit more. So one of his projections, which I chuckled to myself, was Luke Cunnin, which yes, Luke Cunning's been a player who's definitely been a punchy bag on this show, but again, like you're looking for those roles and stuff. So I think for the Sharks and getting McKinney here, again, a player who some people had as a potential option at 30 or 33, who has a role, going to go play at Michigan, one of the best programs in the country. Like I think that's it. Like these are four between Misa, Ravensbergen, Wang, and McKinney. That is four very projectable players. Yes, they're all going to have different roles, but very projectable different players for the San Jose Sharks here, and they're like kind of where they expect these guys to go. So, staying in the third, now moving on to the third round here, also staying in the USHL, the San Jose Sharks drafted Teddy Mutryn, Chicago USHL. Also played a little bit with the national team at the end of the season. 6'1", 204 pounds, 95th overall right-handed shot. Played 47 games with a steal, 17 goals, 13 assists, 100 shots on goal. His dad was a quarterback, I guess. Actually, I think his dad was on the Patriots for like a hot second, or at least was on the practice, but before getting cut. Fun. He was. I think he was actually teammates with Tom Brady. So there you go. It all comes back to Tom Brady. But Mutryn, though, is a player kind of that same role. Like you're trying to build roles here with him. So he's going to be going to Boston College. I think his family is from Boston College. Like it makes sense. Like his dad, both his parents went to school at Boston College. Like definitely makes sense that he's going to be going to Boston College. So which we know. Mike Greer, he loves them Boston kids. So, but yeah, he's going to be heading to Boston College here really soon. So, looking at his elite prospects, kind of what his elevator pitch. So, physical winger with a heavy release and playmaking flashes. He looks like a future bottom six winger who steps up in the playoffs, providing this skill takes a step. Known as a hammer and a clinical finisher. Skating and shooting are both solid, as well as his physical. Maybe the hockey sense and passing and handling aren't kind of as well rated, but again, you're in the third round, end of the third round, you're trying to kind of find some roles. So looking at what the elite prospect says about him, a two-way power forward, Mutryn has a steady rise throughout the year and one of the Chicago Seals leading scorers in a tough year, and they're in a late season stint with the NTDP. Strong straight line skater with a powerful shot. It's a prototypical power forward style. He fires out the rush after driving through traffic, faking before curling the puck around his stick. And if there's some space, he drops his shoulder to get to net. Once there, he creates traffic and spins off contact for rebounds. Although it's not a strength yet, we observed growth in playmaking throughout the season. So our good friend Sebastian said he picked the puck off the scrum in the offensive blue line, barreled into the offensive zone, and his shoulder lowered into an opponent on the his shoulder lowered and an opponent on his back threatened to charge all the way to the crease, but instead of hit the brakes, skinned around and found a trailing shock winding up in the high slot. So he continues to develop his playmaker and transition skills. He'll get more opportunities to use his shot. But his speed, physicality, and shot can make him a valuable fourth line forward. He keeps developing his playmaking. He can impact the third line as well. So kind of what you would expect for him. But so yeah, those are a couple of the forwards here. We're going to look at some more of these guys as we continue here. We've got a Russian player with who makes Mukhamadulin's name feel very short. So we'll look at some of these late round guys here in just 1 minute. Ever wish managing your money felt easier with Monarch Money? It can be. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. Track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing money, you're also building wealth. The great thing about it is if maybe you and your partner want to work towards some financial goals, you can still have your own personal accounts that you can track, but then you can also have goals together as you guys try to build towards whatever it is that you're working towards. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNHL for half off your first year. All right, before we finish up, do of course want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen or maybe second listen. I don't know how many listens we're up to now per day during the draft season, but when you're done, go check out the Locked On NHL podcast. Even though it's the off season, there's no off season in sports. We're still got the biggest daily league-wide stories that matter the most with local coverage you love from Locked On. Find Locked On NHL on YouTube wherever you listen to podcasts. So let's get to some of these other guys here. We'll have to go a little bit more rapid fire with them, but an intriguing player, defenseman Elias Magomedov. That one is going to be a copy and paste whenever I have to write out his name. So we're going to call him Mags because obvious reasons. 6'2", 179 left-handed defenseman, picked 115th overall in the fourth round, playing in the MHL, which is the kind of Russian version of the CHL. 40 games, 1 goal, 6 assists, 37 shots on goal. So the scoring is not like why you're drafting him. But I think he's intriguing, and we heard from Morehouse, who, the scouting director with the Sharks. He liked about him with kind of his runway and his ability to play, like kind of cover ground and make things happen. He said he's not like, you're not going to get a ton of offensive upside from him, but he likes the way he plays in the defensive zones. That's from these Sharks, Chris Morehouse. So a physical, assertive defenseman whose game revolves around his mobility and aggressiveness on defense. Is his kind of elevator pitch, known for being evasive and a hammer. And there's some clips of him just destroying dudes. And he's 6'2", 176 pounds. So once he gets some more muscle on there, that's a potential nice little add there. So 5.5 for his skating, 6 for his physicality from elite prospects. The passing and handling areas that he's going to need to kind of work on as he grows and he develops here. So from elite prospects, considering he has one of the best tool foundations in the Russian class, we could see a team draft Mags in the late rounds of the draft, trusting the development team to transfer him into an NHLer. Mags kills plays early in the sequence, spotting puck carriers as they exit the zone and enveloping them with his 4-way mobility and range. He disrupts rushes and barely gives them time to attack and make the plays in the defensive zone. His aggressive style can lead to some mistakes, and I think that's one of those things where that just usually comes through the reps of like, when can I get away with this and when can I not? And again, you always want to pull someone back, then have to kind of pull some of the aggression out of them. So but he can cause some mistakes, but Mags is generally effective with his aggressive approach, and he's helped his team control shifts by eliminating threats and getting the puck back. So the defenseman's puck play remains a work in progress. His passing and handling both have to improve, and his reads away from the puck. There are large components to add to a player's game, but Mags can become a competent puck mover. His tools could open up a depth NHL role for him. So and from the sound of it, they don't have any worries about him not coming over to North America at some point. So, but not a player you're expecting to see over in North America anytime soon. So, all right, let's get to a guy who is a double overager, could have been drafted 2 years ago. but the Sharks take him. And Zach Sharp, playing with Western Michigan, the champions, 6'1", 181-pound left-handed defenseman, picked 124th overall. 42 games, 5 goals, 4 assists, 60 shots on goal. I think first, let's start with the double overager thing, right? Probably a player who maybe after this year you might think as a maybe competitive team might be competitive as a potential UFA. If you feel like he's a guy that you want in house, like drafting him in the 5th round, where you can kind of control his rights and stuff, maybe you're kind of maybe getting ahead of it a little bit, and then you don't have to potentially burn a year of an ELC type of thing. But and again, this year's draft, like I don't care about overagers, and with the new rules, like even Morehouse talked about, like with the new rules, overagers aren't kind of looked upon as down, or kind of looked down upon as much now, because of just the more runway for development with the CHL and the CHL and the NCAA kind of crossover here. So anyway, for Sharp here, looking at his, so this is from a couple years ago, but still, kind of the player grades for him, they didn't really do as much of the like tools and stuff like that, but known for his passing and his puck handling a little bit more than like kind of his shooting with a couple years ago. But I do think for Sharp, and like they talked about just kind of the growth and development from him that you've seen over the past couple of years, coming from the USHL and now spending some time with Western Michigan, who again won the championship this season. So a guy who, especially as a 20-year-old, like might be a year or two, maybe another year or two at the college level before he kind of makes his professional debut. And again, I know he's left-handed, but what are you going to do? So next guy, a regular overager, single overager. So Max Heisch played in the BCHL this year, 6'3", 170 pounds, right-handed shot, 150th overall. Played 50 games, 27 goals, 13 assists. Looking at his card from last year, physicality is kind of what I would kind of drew my career. Hulking center, whose primary goal is to retrieve the puck and put defenders through the end boards. He's simple and possesses a myriad of protection skills. He really grew this year when it came to the scoring as well. And I think that's like his development, his shot for him is what I think grew a lot this year, and when you score, I know the BCHL isn't the most competitive league. And there's some little bit of red flags as kind of like an overager playing in the BCHL, but you can see the path for him. He's expected to go to Prince Albert and play in the WHL. And then he's going to be going to, I believe, Michigan State, and you really like Michigan State. Like their development program is an excellent program as well. And as a guy who kind of needs to continue to put some weight on and grow a little bit here. Like this might be a really nice path for him, is going from the BCHL, where you were a little bit of a big fish in a small pond, but then playing with Prince Albert and then playing with Michigan State, and like their conditioning and development program, like you can see the path there for him to potentially probably more like an AHL type of guy. But again, like organizational depth, never the worst thing in the world. So then the final guy, a little bit of a different player from what we saw from the Sharks, but Richard Gallant, 5'8", 169-pound player, forward, playing with the U.S. national team, left-handed shot, 210th overall, played 66 games, 29 goals, 24 assists, 118 shots on goal. It's a little bit smaller winger here. Hardworking winger who is among the NTDP's top scorers, excels at give and go plays, physicality and skating at the main hurdles between him and the NHL. Known for his motor and his vision, but his passing is very good and his hockey sense is very good. Morehouse called him a rat. Like, if that's kind of the ultimate hockey compliment, right? Getting called that rat. He thinks he plays bigger, and then what you would expect for him, and that motor, right? We hear that from Mike Grier, right? That compete and that motor, that's a quality that I think he covets in all of his players. And I think Gallant, for a 7th round pick, like, again, you are throwing darts here to see if anything can stick. He's going to Harvard to play college hockey here. So that's kind of his next path as well. So overall, like, we heard from Mike Grier, who talked about, like, we want to pick the best player available. There's some, again, you look at the top of the second, that Ravensburg and Wang combo of maybe, might have gone in a different direction there, especially if you wanted to try to address the right-handed depth in the organization on the blue line. But Grier is going for upside. And again, Ravensburgen projects to be one of the best goalies in this draft class. And if you have Askarov and Ravensburgen, like, that's perfectly great. And again, Ravensburg, like, as most goalies, you're not going to see them for 4 or 5 years anyway before they really start to make an impact. And Wang is going to take some development, but if he hits, like, you have a potential very special player that, with his combination of size and skating, and I think with McKinney, like, you can easily see a role for him among the bottom 6 here as the Sharks continue to stockpile assets here. So that's going to be it for me today. We'll be back Sunday night. Get you guys start looking ahead towards free agency. We should have our qualifying offers, so plenty of great stuff coming this week with free agencies on Tuesday, guys. It's here. Let's see how Mike Grier spends all that money. So maybe we'll get a trade. Who knows? But we'll be back tomorrow. So make sure you follow along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. Follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at My Fry Hole. Till tomorrow. Bye, friends.